Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? No webcam today. So I've left the chip at work. And but for those of you who like to follow the weather, it's sort of a grey day. Some rain overnight. It's a Thursday. Thursday is the only day that I'm working a full day, believe it or not. On Monday and Tuesday I finish at 2:30 because I have to get the grandchildren at 3:30. And then at Wednesday we took the day off because it was the budget yesterday. Today I've got a full day, and then tomorrow I only work in the morning, Fridays. So we've done 3 half days and a full day. So I'll probably post this quickly as a sort of a reaction to the budget. The budget, I'm pleased to say, didn't really alter my worldview. You know, my attitude is that you build up a sort of a model of the world, and as things happen, you can test what's happened against your model and whether your model predicts that this particular thing would happen. I'm just going to defrost the windscreen for a second. It shouldn't affect the microphone. Just move that down a bit. Yeah, and so it's not really the model's been honed over many years, so I wouldn't expect any sort of major changes to it at the moment. Now it's sort of fully developed, and I mentioned it the other day, which is basically as far as Labour government goes, they don't believe that there's anything which isn't better off being provided by the public sector and the government, and they tax as a result. They really, I think, if they could tax 100% of everything, all the value of the labour, human goods and services provided, and redirect it through the government and spend it through the government, they would, And the fact that that is precisely what they've tried to do in very many communist regimes in the past, which have always abjectly failed and been shot down in flames, is of no, how can I put it? I don't think the irony of that has not even occurred to them. And the other, they've just got this very naive attitude that you certainly find in a lot of young people who aren't, let's put it this way, aren't very deep thinkers, who just think that everything would be done better if it was done by the state. Because, there's some, as far as they're concerned, there's some brain power. There's some thought in that process. Whereas the alternative, which is to leave it up to the market, in their view is anarchy. That's just lack of planning, lack of order in there. Although those of you who know, especially the Austrian economists amongst you, know that the market is capable of organising itself very efficiently and contains far more information than is available to the average politician to judge what prices need to be and what goods need to be and services need to be produced and where. So, and the other Labour tenet is that there couldn't have a problem with their first idea about spending if only the rich stumped up a bit more, and that would solve all their income problems. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, that is an extension of the first rule, isn't it? Because thinking that everything's better done by the government is a is a sort of an admission that you think that the government should just take over everybody's money. Should and who has got the money that they don't have, and that is to a large part the wealthy. So what they've just got their avaricious hands on that part of the income and capital of the economy which they don't already possess. They can't tax the people who are on benefit because they're in reverse, aren't they? They're getting money. So the budget really sort of went along those lines. They've decided to put a land tax on, which is basically a wealth tax, which is, like 2% on houses over £2 million. So everyone's going to say, well, that's all right. I'm not going to pay that. But then in 30 years' time, it's going to be 5% on houses over £5,000. So it's the camel's nose under the tent, isn't it? That's the principle here. That's how very many taxes started. Income tax started as a tax on the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts and the Carnegies, and then very quickly became, everybody now who's earning over £12,000 a year is paying income tax, which is nothing. That's pretty much minimum wage now. So, as a dentist, how has it affected me? Well, obviously what I'm doing is I'm looking at things like income tax, national insurance, which, you can argue whether that's paid by the employee or the employer. The point is, it's the employer has to find it, to pay it, for the employee to pay it, don't they? So if they put up national insurance or they put up tax, PAYE, then I'm going to have to. It's kind of going to come out of my wage budget. And and I can't turn around to the staff and say, okay, you're going to get a pay cut. So I'm pleased to say there wasn't much in the way of that. All the stupid taxes like extending beverage taxation to milkshakes and continuing the freeze on fuel duty. I kid you not, fuel duty. The price of oil, right, has been up to practically $100 a barrel, and because Putin and America and Ukraine are sort of making overtures about ending the Ukrainian war, the price of oil has dropped tremendously. It's down to about $60 a barrel now, which, I'll be honest with you, that's about as low as it gets. Sometimes it gets down to 50. But in the last 5 years, it hasn't really gone up at all, unless there's, when Russia invaded Ukraine, it went up. And we buy our oil off the Norwegians, and although you wouldn't expect that to be affected because we don't buy oil from Russia, the world price of oil went up, and for some reason we've got this agreement with the Norwegians where we pay the world price for it. So you think that we'd have tied them into some sort of reasonably long-term contract, wouldn't you? But apparently not. So the budget, I'm just going to say the budget was a non-entity. But that, to a certain extent, it's because I'm not a landlord, and I do get some income from dividends because I've got a limited company. That's the surgery is a limited company. But really, the only consideration there for me is whether or not it's more cost effective for me to take money out of the business as a dividend or as an employee. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at. I mean, they're really targeting people who are rentiers, aren't they? Who own large share portfolios and really don't, and their only income is from dividends on the shares that they own. That's a little bit different from owning a limited company and taking money out of it through dividends. Anyway, I'm thinking of changing accountants because my accountants have not really given me any uh, help at all with running the business. No advice. They've got all this specialist advice and they set themselves up as specialist accountants to the dental profession, and yet I get nothing. So that's my next. I've got a problem with the my thatch barn. The thatch is deteriorated, so I've got a guy coming in tomorrow afternoon to look at the thatch. So that's one thing, and then between now and April, I think I've got to get some more accountants. Here we are. Right, talk to you later. Bye.